Tip number 1 on how to help prevent dementia, prevent Alzheimer's disease is look after your medical conditions. See a doctor, get regular checkups, get blood tests, and if you have medical conditions, get them treated, because there's a whole host of medical conditions where the body affects the brain. For instance, sleep apnea. If you snore a lot, maybe you have sleep apnea. People with sleep apnea, if it's untreated, are groggy during the day, their memory is impaired. If you have low thyroid, low B12, kidney disease, all of these and a host of other conditions will have an effect on your brain, affect your memory, and make any dementia or any brain changes worse. So see your doctor, get tested, and if you have one of these conditions, get it treated. Tip number 2 on how to prevent dementia, how to prevent Alzheimer's disease is sleep. How much sleep do you get? We know that if people get less than 6 hours of sleep a night, it increases the risk of getting dementia. We think sleep is beneficial for the brain. You clear out toxins in the brain as you sleep. You clear out the amyloid, which accumulates in Alzheimer's. So we are recommending you should get at least 7 hours sleep, if possible 8 hours of sleep a night. Get used to having good sleep hygiene, be in a comfortable room, get the television out of the bedroom, and go to bed and sleep. I've added an extra hour of sleep in my life. How many hours do you sleep? Try and sleep over 7 hours a night. Tip number 3 on what you can do to prevent dementia, prevent Alzheimer's disease is exercise. There's nothing which is more effective in reducing your brain aging, in increasing blood flow to your brain, in decreasing your risk of developing dementia as you get older than being fit and exercising. Everybody should be getting ideally 150 minutes a week of moderate exercise. We know that if you exercise, and it doesn't matter what age you are, if you start exercising, you take up to 5 years off your mental age. There's nothing better for your brain, nothing better for preventing Alzheimer's disease than become someone who gets regular exercise. Decide now, I'm not going to be a couch potato. I'm going to get into an exercise program. I'm going to make this lifestyle change. It's so good for you. Tip number 4 for preventing Alzheimer's disease is look after your teeth. Brush your teeth and floss at least once a day. We didn't used to realize it, but the dental hygiene is very important for your brain, because if you don't brush, if you don't floss, you have low levels of inflammation, and the inflammation in your mouth influences your brain. And this is something which is so easy to look after. It's been shown that people who look after their teeth and floss every day have a lower risk of getting Alzheimer's disease. Tip number 5 for preventing Alzheimer's disease is keep your brain active. Do things which are mentally stimulating, things you enjoy, whether it's playing cards, going to lectures, reading books, but keep yourself mentally active as you age, especially after retirement. We now understand that people who engage in mentally stimulating jobs, mentally stimulating hobbies and activities, this helps reduce the risk of getting Alzheimer's disease. And if you can get higher education and go to classes, that's even better. Tip number 6 for preventing Alzheimer's disease and dementia is treat hearing loss. There are about 10 times as many people with reduced hearing among the people over age 65, 10 times as many people as have hearing aids. That means many people have reduced hearing and don't get it treated. We know now that having reduced hearing, for reasons we don't even understand, increases your risk of getting Alzheimer's. And treating hearing loss, getting hearing aids, getting the necessary hearing aids that you need is a way to prevent Alzheimer's disease happening. First, because people with hearing loss, if they don't treat it, they withdraw socially. But second, there's something magic about your hearing. As long as you're hearing the world, it has a very beneficial effect on your brain. So get your hearing evaluated. If people say you're not hearing them, get your hearing tested. If your hearing is low, get hearing aids. Tip number 7 on how to prevent Alzheimer's disease is eat a healthy diet. That means a diet with less red meat, more vegetables, more fruits, a low-fat diet. There's something called the Mediterranean diet or the Mind diet. These are diets where people eat more fish, more chicken, less red meat, more vegetables, and we know that these things in your diet are good for the brain, they're brain nutrition. In fact, there's a Baycrest brain nutrition guide, and this is online. If you follow the recommendations, we believe it reduces your risk of getting Alzheimer's disease. Now we're on tip number 8 for preventing dementia, preventing Alzheimer's disease. The recommendation is to remain socially active. We now know that people who become isolated, who become lonely, are much more likely to develop dementia as they get older than people who remain socially active. So go out, see your friends, see your family, maintain your social network. It's not only good for you psychologically, it is actually good for your brain. So social activity, become a social outgoing person, get out of the house. This will help prevent Alzheimer's. Tip number 9 for preventing dementia is find meaning in your life. What is the purpose in your life? Many people wake up in the morning and say, there's no purpose in my life, I have nothing to wake up for. You wouldn't think that this would matter in the question of developing a brain disease, but we now know that people who say they have a purpose in life, they have a purpose for getting up every morning, are less likely to develop dementia. Think about your own life and what can give it more purpose. One answer is volunteering. We know that people who go out and volunteer in the community, volunteer to help people they know, volunteer at Baycrest Hospital, they report having a better purpose in their life. And we now know that this protects your brain. Having a purpose in life, volunteering, these help protect you from developing dementia. Tip number 10 on how to prevent dementia, how to prevent Alzheimer's disease is this: lower the stress level in your life. Now that's easy to say, but we all live with stress, especially if we live in a big city. But we now know that stress is bad for the brain. People who have a high level of stress day by day or throughout their life, it affects the brain. It shrinks parts of the brain involved in memory. So what can you do about the stress in your life? Is the stress in your life too high for you? If it is, think about ways to reduce stress. Meditation, relaxation therapy, changing your life to make it less stressful. We believe that while some degree of stress is necessary in everybody's life, too much stress has a negative effect on you, a negative effect on your brain, particularly as you age. So think about what you can do to reduce the stress in your life. It'll help prevent Alzheimer's disease. Tip number 11 on what you can do to prevent dementia and prevent Alzheimer's is protect your heart. What's good for the heart is also good for the brain. So, what is bad for the heart? High blood pressure, smoking, high cholesterol, being overweight. If any of these things are part of your life, think what you can do to help your heart. I've spoken about exercise, but go to your doctor, make sure your blood pressure, if it's high, is treated. If your cholesterol is high, it's treated. Treat to reduce your risk of heart attack. You're also reducing the risk of getting Alzheimer's disease. Tip number 12 on what you can do to help prevent dementia, help prevent Alzheimer's disease, is to look at lifestyle elements that cause diabetes and obesity. We know that these factors, diabetes, obesity, affect the blood flow in your brain. If you can prevent diabetes, reduce your weight, prevent your blood sugar being too high, this is also good for your brain. So look at your weight, look at your lifestyle, look at your diet, look at your activities, and make a commitment that this is going to be the year when you get your weight down. And if you do have diabetes, it's essential you see a doctor regularly and get your blood sugar treated. So treating blood sugar, treating obesity, preventing yourself getting into these pre-diabetic states is also good for your brain. It will help prevent Alzheimer's disease. Tip number 13 on how you can prevent dementia, how you can prevent Alzheimer's disease, is to look at your emotional life. Particularly depression. As people get older, with the changes in their life, with decreased social contacts, isolation, sometimes the loss of a spouse, people become increasingly depressed. We believe that depression is a risk factor for getting dementia and getting Alzheimer's disease. So if you're feeling depressed, talk to someone about it, talk to your doctor, because depression can be treated. And as the depression lifts, as you're feeling less depressed, we believe this reduces your risk of getting dementia. Depression is a medical illness. You should talk to your doctor. You should get it treated. Tip number 14 on how you can prevent dementia, how you can prevent Alzheimer's disease, is avoid the medications that affect your brain. Most important is avoid sleeping pills, avoid sedatives. Now, sleep is good. People say, I need to sleep. Yes, sleep is important. There are many ways to encourage your sleep, such as a healthy lifestyle, hygiene at night, activities, even a glass of warm milk. But sleeping pills, particularly if you take them every night, accumulate in the brain and will affect your memory. And in fact, there are many other medications that have an effect on the brain. So if you're not sure, speak to your pharmacist, speak to your doctor. Avoid medications, particularly sleeping pills, that are affecting your brain, affecting your attention, affecting your memory. Tip number 15 on how to help prevent dementia, prevent Alzheimer's, is alcohol. A little bit of alcohol is probably beneficial for the brain. We estimate maybe half a glass of wine a day, but no more. If you are drinking 2, 3 more glasses of wine a day or other spirits or more alcohol than you should, we know this has a detrimental effect on the brain. We know this increases the rate of getting dementia, increases the chance of memory loss. So have a look at your alcohol intake and reduce it if you're over that level. No more than half a glass a day.